is Taro and welcome to episode 8 of our Digimon Tamers Review series. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the US Digivolving Terriermon to MegaGargomon figure. Terriermon has already made a cameo appearance in the Lopmon review, and to preface this review, I'd like to invite Lopmon back to say just how much I love the fact that the designers made the two modes as close to each other as possible despite the different transformations. However, as you can see, it's precisely because of those different transformations that Lopmon works much better proportion-wise than Terriermon. Terriermon's ears are just too small and straight, his body is too big, and his feet are just MegaGargomon's but with the toes splayed out. Once again, just like Lopmon, Terriermon's a half and half transformer, meaning to say that a large part of the transformation consists of turning the figure around. Unlike Lopmon, however, the kibble isn't as neatly tucked away, with MegaGargomon's huge shoulder missile launchers hanging off the back. This does cause some balancing issues, especially because he lacks any kind of heel support. But then again, it's not like you're gonna get any kind of pose out of this mode. The ears, which are ostensibly Terriermon's second pair of arms, are sadly really limited. You can pose them somewhat if you pull them away from the head on these sets of transformation hinges, but it just looks weird and the hinges themselves are rather loose. The actual arms, however, are nice and ball jointed, and they are on a separate set of transformation hinges that allow them to reach all the way across the body. Lastly, he does have some forward and back leg articulation, and his feet are on limited ball joints, but again, the only thing they're really good for is giving him ankle tilts. While not as good as Lopmon, the Terriermon mode is definitely serviceable, but if you want to see what this figure is truly capable of, all we have to do is to take a look at its gargantuan mega form. We begin the transformation by pulling the ears out and away on these sets of hinges. Take the arms, extend them on these hinges and bring them all the way to the front. Extend his legs. Pull down his feet, rotate them around, close up his toes, and extend the feet forwards. Take the two shoulder missile launchers and swing them off to the sides. Rotate them up and collapse them into the body. Open the launchers and fold out the arms. Extend them. Fold out the hands. And close the shoulder launchers back up. Last but not least, we fold out the head. Slide the ears back on this hinge. Peg them into the top of the head. And position the jetpack so that it's facing the back. Hands down, MegaGargomon is one of the best modes in the line, save for just a couple of inaccuracies due to the fact that he's a transforming figure, like how his head seems to be buried in his body and how his arms come out from the backs of the shoulder missile launchers instead of the center. He's pretty much spot on. They even included his thrusters, which are kind of pointless considering how you'll only be able to see them from the back. And yeah, you don't want to see this figure from the back. Missing paint is also minimal, with maybe just a little bit of grey on his abs and black on his toes, whiskers and faces being absent. Full disclosure, I did pen align all the faces on my figure. I don't usually do any kind of customization of my own, but honestly, while the rest of the missing paint didn't bother me that much, having these faces painted in makes a world of a difference. Articulation wise, while it is significantly improved, you still won't be able to get any kind of dynamic pose out of him. The arms, however, are pretty nice. Pulling these shoulders away from the main body unlocks some shoulder articulation. The elbows can bend quite a fair amount, and there are swivel joints above the elbow and below the elbow. The hands can open and close, and the thumb can rotate up and down. Strangely enough, the legs do have an extra knee joint in this mode, but since he's not supposed to have any kind of forwards and backwards leg movement, this is kind of pointless. And the feet are pretty much the same as in Terriermon mode, save for the fact that they are no longer limited by this armor piece. To be fair though, MegaGargomon doesn't really need to have any kind of dynamic pose due to how big he is in the show. He's pretty much a flying fortress. Sadly, due to the limitations of this being a physical toy, we can't have a MegaGargomon mode that's to scale with the rest of the figures in the line. In the same vein, it would have been nice if the ears could have collapsed just like they do in the show, but that's just not going to be possible. In conclusion, in my opinion, the Terriermon to MegaGargomon figure is one of the best figures in the line. While he's indeed a half-and-half transformer, the transformation is more involved than just flipping the figure around, which is more than I can say for some of the other US Digivolving figures. Neither mode is sacrificed that much for the other, and that's what all good transforming figures should strive to achieve. Appropriately, out of all the main megas, he's the hardest to come by, but if you do manage to come across him, I definitely recommend picking him up, even if you're not that big of a fan of Terriermon or MegaGargomon. So, this is Acta saying, see you guys in the next episode of our Digimon Tamers series of reviews.